Good morning. We are moving into our second session of our chapter waves, and in this session we will be discussing about the speed of both transverse wave and longitudinal waves in a medium. Now, when we look at the speed of a wave, of a transverse wave in a medium, last session I told you an example of a transverse wave is the waves produced in a stretched string, like a guitar string. If you pluck a string, you set up a transverse wave on the string, and we are now looking at that example to derive an expression for the speed of a transverse wave. Now here the two factors. So there are two ways in which you can derive this. One is the dimensional analysis and the other one is by Newton's method. But in our textbook we deal with only dimensional analysis, and that is what we are going to do today. So here the two factors that determine the speed of a wave on a stretched string. The first one is the tension in the string, which as you know is force, and therefore the dimensional formula is mLT raised to minus 2. Also, you've seen the guitar strings are having different thicknesses, thicker ones, and then as it goes down, it becomes thinner. So the mass per unit length, which is another factor which we denote as mu, is the mass per unit length of a string, and that is ml raised to minus 1 is the dimension. It is seen that if you take the ratio of T by mu, that is mlt raised to minus 2 by ml raised to minus 1, should be giving you m and m gets cancelled. You have L square T raised to minus 2, and therefore if you take the square root of T by mu, that is T by mu square root, you will see that this is going to be Lt raised to minus 1, the square root of this, which is the dimensional formula for velocity. So we come to the conclusion that the velocity is directly proportional to square root of T by mu, because this and this have the same dimensions. Or we may write V equal to C into root of T by mu, and the value of C, which is a constant, is unity by Newton's method. So we may write V equal to root of T by mu, where T stands for the tension of the string and mu is the mass per unit length of the string. Now also it is interesting to note that using those tuning pegs, you can change the tension on a string. So if you tighten this tuning peg and increase the tension in the string, you will see greater the tension, greater is the velocity. And faster the wave on the string, lesser will be the time period. And as you know, frequency is equal to 1 by time period. Smaller the time period, greater will be the frequency. So as you increase the tension on the string, you are actually increasing the speed, reducing the time period, and thereby increasing the frequency of the sound that you hear. Same way, I told you, you would have noticed there are different strings of different thickness. So the thinnest string, which has the least mass per unit length, lesser the mass per unit length, greater will be the velocity. That means lesser will be the time period and greater the frequency. So greater frequencies of sound will be the frequency of the sound on that thinner string will be the frequency of that wave will be the largest on that thinner string. So this is how velocity is determined by the tension and the mass per unit length of a string, and this velocity determines the frequency of the sound produced or the frequency of the wave that is produced in that string. This goes for any transverse wave. We have just taken an example for a stretched string on a guitar. Any transverse wave, the velocity is root of T by mu. Now here we go on to discuss the speed of a longitudinal wave. In our last class or last session, we discussed both transverse wave and longitudinal waves. And I told you that a longitudinal wave travels in the form of compressions and rarefactions. So the property of a medium that deals with changes in volume and therefore density, that is the bulk modulus, is an important factor that determines the speed of a longitudinal wave in a medium. So the first factor that determines the speed of a longitudinal wave in a medium, because it travels in the form of compressions and rarefactions, involves changes in pressure and volume, and therefore the bulk modulus, which is minus PV by delta V, the dimensional formula being ml raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 2. The other factor that determines the speed of this longitudinal wave is the density of the medium. The density being rho, which is mass per unit volume. So we have this dimensional equation as ml raised to minus 3. It is found that the ratio B by rho, which is ml raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 2 by ml raised to minus 3 will give you L square t raised to minus 2, and therefore we know that if you take the square root of B by rho, you will see the square root of this will give you LT raised to minus 1, which is again, you see, the dimensional formula for velocity. So we may conclude that the velocity is directly proportional to root of B by rho, or V is equal to a constant into B by rho. The constant determined as unity. So we have V equal to B by rho, where B is the bulk modulus of the medium and rho is the density. Now, if you're looking at the velocity of, let's say, sound in air, you know, for an ideal gas, for velocity of the longitudinal wave in a gas, you know that the ideal gas equation is PV equal to nRT. So if you think of these compressions and variations, that is the pressure variations, to be isothermal changes, you may take T as a constant, because you already know that T is a constant, temperature is a constant for an isothermal change. So you may write PV equal to a constant. And now if I differentiate this with respect to time, then this would be P into dV by dt plus V into dP by dt equal to 0. So this is going to be, so you may write, so P into dV plus V into dP equal to 0, or I may write P equal to minus V into dP by dt, which is a constant, which is the bulk modulus, dV, which is the bulk modulus. So I may replace this velocity equation as root of V bulk modulus can be replaced with pressure by the density rho. Now here, P by rho, if you substitute the values at standard temperature and pressure at STP, you substitute the value of pressure and density of air, the velocity of sound was calculated to be 280 meter per second, which is around 15% lesser than the actual experimental value. The experimental value is 331 meter per second, which is the velocity of sound in air. So using this formula, Newton's formula, we get 280 meter per second, which is lesser than the actual value, the experimental value. So Laplace came forward, and Laplace came forward with this idea, with this conclusion, that Newton considered these pressure variations to be isothermal, but what Laplace pointed out was that the pressure variations happen very quickly while sound is traveling through air, so that the heat gets little time to flow out, or there is hardly any time for heat transfer, because of which these pressure variations have to be considered to be adiabatic. So if it is an adiabatic change, we know that we take, for an adiabatic change, we know PV raised to gamma is equal to a constant, which you know gamma as a ratio of specific heat, Cp by Cv. Now if I am going to differentiate this with respect to time, we have P into V dv raised to gamma by dt plus v raised to gamma into dp by dt being equal to 0. Now you can't differentiate with respect to time here. So dv raised to gamma by dv into dv by dt plus v raised to gamma into dp by dt is equal to 0. Now I may take these two to the right hand side. So I may write p into d by dv of v raised to gamma into dv plus v raised to gamma into dp equal to 0. Now this I may use the d by dx of x raised to n is equal to n into x raised to n minus 1, which you already know. So I'm using that and writing p into gamma into v raised to gamma minus 1 into dv plus v raised to gamma into dp equal to 0. Or I may split this and write v raised to gamma minus 1 can be written as v raised to gamma by v, because v raised to minus 1 I brought to the denominator. So I may cancel this and this, which is common, and I may write gamma p is now going to be equal to, I'm going to take this to the right, so this is minus dp. From here this is into v by dv. I brought this to the right as minus dp. This goes on to the numerator and this to the denominator. So you know this is what we have as bulk modulus. So here, according to Laplace correction, the bulk modulus has to be replaced with gamma p. So he brought out the new formula for the velocity of a longitudinal wave as root of, we know b by rho, but b is replaced with gamma p. Now, after substituting the values at standard temperature and pressure for gamma, pressure and the density of air, he got a value of sound in air as 331.2 meter per second, which is very close to the experimental value, and therefore we now accept this Laplace correction velocity of a longitudinal wave as root of gamma p by rho. So today's session we conclude by having derived both the formulas. That is, for a transverse wave, the velocity is root of t by mu, t being the tension in the string and mu being the mass per unit length of the string. And here we have the velocity of a longitudinal wave as root of gamma p by rho, gamma being a constant for a medium, that is the ratio of specific heat, Cp by Cv, p the pressure and rho the density of the medium. Thank you.